What's up, y'all? I'm Javar. This is DUSAFARMS, and in this video, I'm going to try to help you decide exactly how much cocoa you need for your plants. Now, when I first started running cocoa, I didn't know exactly how much I needed. I remember running soil, and I needed about 3 gallons. That's what a lot of people recommended. So I was still under that same impression. But cocoa is far different from soil. It comes in the similar bags, but it also comes in bricks. I decided to go with the bricks because, for one, it's a lot cheaper to ship. It's a lot smaller of a container, and two, it's just easier to set up all around due to the size of the brick. The only thing is that since I was going with the bricks, when I was looking around, there's a bunch of different companies out there. I decided to go with Floraflex, but across all the other companies, a lot of the things that were common was the size. The bags either came in 1 gallon or 2 gallon. Now, when I say bags, I'm talking about like the quick fill bags, or AKA the bricks. I'm not talking about like the soil bags. So just for reference, if I do say that, I'm still talking about the bags filled with the brick. But yeah, the common sizes were 1 and 2 gallon. Of course, I went with the 2 gallon because it's a lot closer to the 3 gallons that I was thinking I needed. And it did turn out I didn't really need that much at all. After my first run, got a few runs under there, and I quickly used up those 2 gallon bags. I only got like 10 to start with. But after I ran through those, I was looking around, I was on Instagram, and I knew Miss Rad Reefer. I knew she was running some of the Floraflex bags. I seen that she was running the 1 gallon, so I was like, her plants are big and those are still in veg. So I was like, I can definitely, try those out. I could try out the 1 gallon and see how, well they work. And of course, they're cheaper. They're a little bit cheaper than the 2 gallon because it's half the size. So I go with the 1 gallon. It turns out 1 gallon seemed to be enough. It seemed to be the perfect amount. I grew some decent sized plants, not only all the way from veg all the way through flower. I grew those 3 months. I'm also growing out mothers, and my mothers I'm growing for about 120 days. I'm getting pretty big plants, and then I'm not chopping them due to root bound or anything like that. I'm literally just chopping them and starting over with fresh clones just because of the size and, freeing up space in the tent. So with the 1 gallon, they're definitely doing the trick. And I don't know why I went with 2 gallon. I mean, of course I know why I went with it, but 1 gallon seems to be enough for me. And I feel like that's the standard, as I'm seeing a lot of people rock 1 gallon when it comes to cocoa. The only difference with the 1 gallon versus the 2 gallon, of course, I mean, the main thing being the size, but also with that size is going to come like the dehydration rate. The 1 gallon is going to dry out a little bit faster than the 2 gallon just because of the size. The roots are going to suck up water a lot quicker. It's just a smaller area space for water to accumulate, so it's obviously going to leave a lot faster than it would be in a bigger container, and that's not a problem. Me, typically, I water my plants. I'm doing every morning and night, or lights on and lights off. I've done just at lights off or at lights on. I've only done 1 time a day, but for me, I found out the 2 times a day works well. One time a day is also not bad. It's just the way I water. I don't have an automatic setup. I know a bunch of others that are doing more frequent fertigation where they're watering every hour on the hour, several times a day. And me, I want to try that out eventually one day. But for right now, with the setup I got, I'm not fully automatic, so I'm having to manually do it. Yes, I do use a pump, but at the same time, I have to connect that pump each time. So the lights on and lights off seems to work for me. If you were to try it out, you just try it out, see what works best for you. You may do 1 time a day, 2 times a day. You may do several times a day. It's also just going to be up to you. You're going to have to play around with it and see what works best for you, for your environment, and see how fast things are drying out. Because with cocoa, one thing you don't have to worry about is overwatering. So that's a plus right there. You don't have to really sit there. You could drain them, because when I water mine, I typically water to drain. I get my runoff and I'm good to go. I know some people, they do drawbacks. I've tried to incorporate some drawbacks. I do that towards the end, and then I start tapering down. So, and now with the soil meter I have, I'm able to actually like track it and see what my EC is within my soil or cocoa. But hopefully I was able to help you out if you were trying to decide between 1 gallon or 2 gallon. Obviously, to me, 1 gallon is better. 2 gallon, you're going to have more space or whatever. But for what I do, 1 gallon is perfectly fine. You're going to be able to grow some decent sized plants, and it's going to take up a lot less space. And obviously, you're going to save on some money. That's what it's all about, getting the best as you can for the cheapest price. Sometimes you got to pay to play, but sometimes you can save and it still get the same results, if not better. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Until next time, peace.